Good evening, everyone. So, my next video, which I'm going to discuss with you, is on the topic pharmacoeconomics. It is the postgraduate topic, which I'm going to discuss with you. And before I start my video, I want to request you if you like this video and if it is helpful to you, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Nitika Pharmacology Discussion. So, now I'm going to discuss with you pharmacoeconomics. Now, pharmacoeconomics, what is it? It is the description and analysis of the cost of drug therapy to healthcare systems and society. Means a person is there, a patient is there, he is suffering from some disease. So we have to give the drug treatment to that patient. So, what is the description and what is the analysis of the cost of drug therapy to healthcare system? That is the pharmacoeconomics. It identifies, measures, and compares the cost and consequences of pharmaceutical products and services. Means, like a patient is suffering from hypertension, so the primary and secondary efficacy endpoints will be met, like there will be decrease in the systolic and diastolic BP by the drug treatment. So it measures and compares the cost of the drug treatment, plus it also measures the consequences. Means how much is the reduction in the blood diastolic blood pressure and systolic blood pressure of the drug by the drug and various pharmaceutical products and services is the pharmacoeconomics. Now, pharmacoeconomic analysis is the cost analysis and clinical study. Cost is when we give the drug treatment to the patient for some disease. What is the cost of the drug treatment? That is cost analysis and clinical studies. We give the treatment. So, what is the response? Therapeutic response, the primary and secondary efficacy endpoints has been met or not. The consequences, the clinical outcome has been met or not. That is the clinical study. So, pharmacoeconomic analysis can be divided into cost analysis and clinical study. So, why is pharmacoeconomics important? Estimates the value of patient outcomes received for the expenditure spent on medications and other healthcare costs. It means it estimates that what is the value of patient outcome. Means what is the systolic and diastolic blood pressure in the case of patient of the hypertensive patient, and what is the estimates the value of patient outcomes received for the expenditures. Means what is the cost? Means whether the cost is more or the benefit is more. And if the benefit is more, then the drug will be available in the market and it will be sold. Means expenditures spent on the medications and other healthcare costs, they are more or the benefit or the patient outcome is more. The questions explored include: should a new medicine be included in the formulary? Means national health formularies are available. So whether that medicine should be available in the formulary or not. Should a new pharmacy services be implemented or not? New pharmacy service will be implemented or not. How do different medicines impact health related quality of life? Means how the medicines they affect the quality status of the patient of quality of life of the patient, whether it improves the quality of life or not, whether the diseases has been cured, whether there's reduction in the blood pressure, whether there's reduction in the glucose levels in the body, whether the peptic ulcers have been healed or not. And is a vaccine plan cost beneficial? Means if the vaccine has been discovered to prevent any particular disease, so its cost is beneficial or not. The pharmacoeconomics and other research, it may be divided into pharmacy-related clinical outcome research and healthcare economics. Means pharmacoeconomics can be linked to two branches, that is pharmacy-related clinical outcome research and the health economics. Now, healthcare economics it encompasses topics like supply and demand for healthcare resources, effects of health insurance, manpower supply. Means what is the supply and demand for the healthcare resources? What is the supply and demand of the healthcare resources? What is the effect of health insurance and manpower supply? And clinical outcome means which measures and identifies and evaluates the end results of healthcare services, including cost and patient health status. Is the healthcare services given to the patient? So, what is the cost of treatment plus what is the patient's health status? Means whether the clinical outcome has been achieved or not, quality of life has been improved or not, the various primary, secondary efficacy endpoints have been met or not. Health economics is the application of the discipline of economics to the topic of health. It includes three parameters, that is, what is the output of healthcare? Means we are giving the healthcare, we are giving the drugs, treatment, we are giving various services to the patient, healthcare services to the patient. Now, what is the outcome? What is the clinical outcome of the healthcare? What is the cost of producing better health? Means what is the cost of treatment which is given to the patient? And efficiency of the drug therapy. The types of perspective assessing costs and consequences. The value of pharmaceutical product or service depends heavily on the perspective of the evaluation. Means the value of pharmaceutical product, it will depend heavily on the perspective of the evaluation. The patient's perspective is how much is the patient is paramount because patients are ultimate consumers of healthcare services, and costs from the perspective of patients are essentially what patients pay for a product. Is what the patient is paying. What is the cost of treatment which he's paying? What is the cost of hospital stay which he's paying? What is the cost of laboratory test which he's paying? What is the cost of various uh, food supply which he is paying? What is the cost of hospital bed stay which he is paying? And travel cost also. So ambulance cost also means it is the portion not covered by the insurance. Means it is the patient pays for the product or service, that is the portion which is not covered by the insurance. Provider's perspective is cost from the provider's perspective are the actual expense of providing a product or service regardless of what the provider charges. Means it is the actual expense of the provider. Means providers are like managed care organizations, hospitals, private practice physicians. Means what is the cost which they are spending? Or like direct costs on the drugs, hospitalization, laboratory tests, supplies, salaries of healthcare professionals. Because these are identified, measured, and compared. Is what is the cost of the drug of the hospital, which the drug which are available in hospitals, what is the laboratory test cost, what is the supplies cost, salaries of healthcare professionals. This is the provider's perspective. The payer's perspective is payers include insurance companies, employers, and government. Means costs represent the charges for healthcare products and services allowed by the payer. Means what is the payer? What the government is paying, what the insurance company is paying. That is the payer's perspective. The cost can be calculated to estimate the resources or inputs that are used in production of good or service. Now, cost can be divided into direct medical cost, direct non-medical cost. Direct medical cost is what is the cost of medicines, what is the cost of counseling to the patient, what is the cost of various laboratory tests, what is the cost of hospitalizations and ambulance. And direct non-medical cost is travel cost to the healthcare, hotel stays for relatives, childcare cost for children of patients. And this is the indirect medical cost, non-medical cost, means what is the travel cost to the healthcare, ambulance cost, or the travel cost to healthcare, what is the hotel relatives, hotel stays for relatives, and childcare cost for children or patient. Indirect cost is loss in the productivity of the patient and the caregiver because of the disease of the patient. What is the loss of productivity of the patient and the caregiver? That is the indirect cost. Intangible cost is cost of pain, suffering, anxiety, fatigue that occur because of illness or treatment. If the patient is suffering from some disease, so while suffering from disease, he may be also suffering from pain, suffering, anxiety, fatigue. So that is the cost, intangible cost. Now, direct costs from healthcare's perspective, what are the staff costs, capital costs, drug acquisition costs, indirect are loss of earnings, loss of productivity, loss of leisure time due to illness, cost of travel to hospital. These are indirect cost. Means what is the loss of productivity to the patient and the caregiver, what is the loss of leisure time due to illness, cost of travel to hospital. Intangible is pain, worry, distress, suffering. When the patient is suffering from some illness or because of treatment there's any pain, worry or distress. Opportunity cost is when selecting one therapy alternative over the best next best alternative, what is the benefit, means what is the benefit of the selecting the one therapy over the next best alternative. Marginal cost is cost of patient's meals, nursing time. It is when there's a less hospital stay as compared to previous cost, previous treatment. The newer treatment is having the less hospital stay. So there will be a patient is charged a day earlier. So the cost of patient meals and nursing time will be reduced. That is the marginal cost. Perspective of study based on cost. Perspective describes whose costs are relevant based on the purpose of the study. Societal cost, like cost to insurance company, cost to the patient, indirect cost like loss of productivity. Now the societal cost will be what is the cost to the insurance company, what is the cost to the patient, what is the cost of loss of productivity. Payer cost is a third party plan or patient or combination of patient copay and third party plan cost. The standardization of the cost is that the earlier the cost is less of the treatment and um, after a period of time, as the time is passing each year, the cost of the treatment is again increasing. It is increasing day by day. So adjustment of cost is needed. That is the standardization of the cost. And discounting is bringing future cost to present by taking discount rates. This future cost, they will be more, so to bring them to the present cost by taking discount rates, that is discounting. Now, what are marginal costs? It's a cost for producing one extra unit of outcome or product. Is what is the cost of producing one extra unit? One extra like patient stay in the hospital will be reduced if the better treatment is there. So what is the cost of producing one extra unit of outcome or product? That is the marginal cost. Incremental cost is difference in the cost between the two competing options. Is the first treatment is given, then the second treatment is given. So what is the difference between the two treatments? That is the incremental cost, the cost of two treatments. Incremental cost effective ratio is the difference in the cost of the two newer alternative and the older alternative drug therapy, and the outcome produced, that is the difference between the outcomes of older and newer drug therapy, that is the incremental cost effectiveness ratio. The types of pharmacoeconomic studies, this can be divided into four types basically. These are cost minimization analysis, cost effectiveness analysis, cost benefit analysis, cost utility analysis. So this methodology, the two units are seen here, the cost measurement unit and outcome measurement unit. In cost minimization analysis, the cost measurement unit is in dollars, that's in the monetary terms. And outcome measurement unit in cost minimization analysis is equivalent. That is the in two groups it will be equivalent. The outcome will be equivalent. Means it is done. This analysis is done in the chemically equivalent products, drug therapies, chemically equivalent or the same drug with different brand names, which is chemically equivalent. That is the outcome measurement is the equivalent. Cost effectiveness means the cost measurement unit is in dollars, but the outcome measurement unit is in the natural units, like how many years of life have been gained, how many reduction in blood pressure has been done, millimeter of mercury, millimoles per liter, blood glucose levels reduction. Means it is in the measured in the natural health units. Cost benefit analysis, both the cost measurement unit as well as outcome measurement unit is in monetary terms, such as dollars, because benefit in the place in respect of cost is seen and cost is also seen in the monetary terms. Cost utility analysis means there is quality adjusted life years or other utilities, that is the outcome measurement unit, and dollars is the cost measurement unit, that is the cost utility analysis. So, pharmacoeconomic methods have been divided into cost consequence, cost benefit, cost effectiveness, cost minimization, cost utility, and humanistic means these have been the quality of life, patient's perspective, patient satisfaction, patient's preferences, patient satisfaction is how by which method or by which cost, which drug therapy the patient is satisfied, the patient prefers which drug therapy, whether the quality of life is improved by which whether by a particular drug therapy or from the older drug therapy, just the quality of life has been improved. That is a humanistic methods. The cost minimization analysis, I've already told you, this compares input cost, assumes outcomes to be equivalent. This is chemically equivalent products. The outcome is measured in chemically equivalent products, that is drug therapies, and cost is measured in the dollars. Simplest to conduct comparison of generic equivalents of the same drug entity, measuring cost of same medicines in different settings. Cost effectiveness analysis is the of the cost is in dollars and outcome in natural health units, like how much is the improvement in the health, how many cures of disease are there, how many lives have been saved, how many blood pressure reductions are there, how many blood glucose levels reductions are there. And this is the most common pharmacoeconomic analysis. This is clinical outcomes familiar to practitioners, no need to convert them to monetary benefits. Now, advantages, clinical outcomes is familiar to practitioner because they will see the outcome, therapeutic response in the patients. That is very common. Disadvantages, clinical outcome to be same. The clinical outcome has to be same. That is the disadvantage. Cost effectiveness analysis, if product of a similar disease compared, more than one clinical outcome important. If the product for the similar diseases are compared, then more than one clinical outcome important, like in hormonal replacement therapy, effect on menopausal systems, that is reduction in menopausal symptoms is seen and improvement in the bone mineral density may be needed. Multiple cost effectiveness ratios may be needed. Different outcome difficult to collapse into one unit. When there is different outcomes, so they are difficult to collapse into one unit. Ways to present cost effectiveness ratio, like cost consequence analysis is list of the cost of various drug treatments and the outcomes. And it is just a list. It is not the ratio. Cost effectiveness ratio is ratio of the resources used per unit of the clinical benefit. Means the ratio of the cost of the drug divided by clinical benefit. That is cost effectiveness ratio. Incremental cost effectiveness ratio is the ratio of difference in the cost of the older treatment and of the newer treatment. What is the difference in the cost divided by difference in the outcomes? What is the difference between the outcome of the older treatment and the newer treatment? Dominant means the dominant option is more effective and less expensive than the other. With dominant incremental cost effectiveness ratio will be that which will be least costly and more benefit, more effective. Now, primary versus the immediate outcomes, like primary outcome is like cure of a disease, eradication of the infection, health years saved. These are the primary outcomes. So what is the cure of the disease? What is the eradication of infection? What is the life years saved? And intermediate means the test of the results of the laboratory test or disease markers. And intermediate outcomes used when complete effects on morbidity and mortality cannot be manufactured. Means when complete effects on the morbidity, that is a disease condition of the patient, and the death of the patient cannot be captured, then we use the intermediate outcomes like laboratory tests and disease markers. Now, efficacy versus effectiveness. It is efficacy is a drug can work in ideal conditions. Effectiveness is if a drug does work in practice. How the drug does work in if a drug does work in practice. And economic pharmacoeconomics, this is more interested in the effectiveness, means what is in the practice, not in ideal conditions. Now, researchers should exclude protocol given cost, such as frequent monitoring of the patients during trials, Should also conduct sensitivity analysis to account for possible analysis to account for different or for possible differences between randomized controlled trials and real practice. They should also conduct, the researcher should also conduct sensitivity analysis to account for possible analysis to account for possible differences between randomized controlled trials and real practice. Cost utility analysis is the how many quality adjusted life years are there. The outcome measurement is in the quality adjusted life years, and based on years of life that are adjusted by utility weights which range from 1 to 0, 1 for healthy and 0 for death. Multiple health outcomes can be measured with one unit, like quality adjusted life years. Disadvantages: no consensus on how to measure these utility weights. Only a rough estimate can be done. Only a rough estimate can be done of these quality adjusted life years. We cannot make the proper uh, estimate, cannot be made. Like 1 year of life in perfect health has a score of one quality adjusted life year. And perfect health is 1 per year, and death is 0 per year, and disease patient between 1 and 0. For a disease patient, the quality adjusted life year will be between 1 and 0. So description of the disease stage is how much amount of pain the patient is suffering from or discomfort is suffering from, what are the restriction of activities, what is the duration of treatment given, whether the stress about the health is there or not, any mental changes in the patient are there or not. This is the description of the disease state. The cost benefit analysis means that these are the costs and benefits both in monetary terms these are measured. Advantages: the decision makers determine whether benefits exceed cost. Decision makers can compare multiple interventions with similar or unrelated outcomes. Disadvantages: subjective judgment whether extra cost worth the added benefit. It's a subjective judgment that whether the extra cost, that is the extra cost, is worth the added benefit or not. Like this, like the costs are various indirect medical costs like loss of productivity, loss of the travel costs, direct medical costs, cost of the drugs, cost of the hospitalization, cost of the ambulance, cost of hospital stay, cost of laboratory tests, counseling, all these costs. And benefits are intangible benefits, like whether the pain, suffering, distress the patient is suffering from, that is less or not. Indirect benefits like cost of the loss of productivity is less or not, loss of leisure time is less or not. Direct medical and non-medical savings, what are the direct non-medical and medical savings, that are the benefits. So pharmacoeconomic cube, has been divided into four types, that is the cost identification, cost effectiveness, cost benefit, cost utility. These are the types of analysis. Point of view, this is perspective, society's perspective, patient's perspective, payer's perspective, provider's perspective. And types of cost and benefits, these are intangible, indirect, non-direct, non-medical, direct medical. These have been, this is the what we study in the pharmacoeconomic topic, pharmacoeconomic analysis. These are all the things which we study. The cost consequences analysis is just a list of the cost of the drug treatment and the outcome of the drug treatment, and there is no calculation or comparisons. Cost of illness analysis attempt to determine total economic burden. What is the total economic burden, including prevention, treatment, losses of a disease on society? What is the total economic burden of the disease on the society? That is the cost of illness analysis. Cost summarizes direct and indirect, used to indicate magnitude of resources needed for a disease. Compare economic impact of one disease versus another. Means what is the economic impact of one disease versus another? That is the cost of illness analysis, which is just the total economic burden of the disease on the society. Now, applications, decision making during drug development. Now, the application of pharmacoeconomic study will be the decision making during drug development. That whether this drug has to be approved in the market, it has to come in the market or not. When we have to price a new medicine or repricing the existing one, then we can do the pharmacoeconomic analysis. Then whether this regulatory authorities should market the approval or not of the drug. Developing clinical strategies. Various clinical strategies have been developed. Various standard treatment guidelines have been developed. That whether this drug at which place should this drug be placed in the protocol of treatment of some disease. This what are the various clinical strategies. Pharmacoeconomic analysis is done, and then we develop the clinical strategies. Conclusion: an evolving science still testing its methodologies. Validity, reliability, and robustness of studies need to be improved. Goals is to find most effective and efficient treatment at least cost. That is the most effective and efficient treatment at the least cost should be there. And standard guidelines by an independent body comprising people from academia, pharmaceuticals, health authorities need to be formulated. Means this various standard treatment guidelines by the academia, patient persons, pharmaceutical companies, health authorities, they can formulate various standard treatment guidelines by doing this pharmacoeconomic study. Thank you. That's all for pharmacoeconomics. I hope you like this video, and if you like this video and if it is useful to you, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's Dr. Nitika Pharmacology Discussion. Thank you. Be happy, be healthy, be blessed. Happy learning. Thank you.